My name is Carlos Erwin Estevez, and today, I will be explaining the ancient connection between the people of Judaism and the land of Israel. Nearly 4,000 years ago, God chose the Hebrews to be His people. He started this with Abraham. God called to Abraham to make a promise with him. Abraham was promised that he and his descendants would form a great nation. So Abraham moved to the land of Israel, which at that time was known as Canaan. It was the promised land that God had promised him. He and his family prospered there for many years. Three generations later, famine struck the land. So Joseph, descended from Abraham, called the rest of his family to move to Egypt. They prospered there for many more years. However, the leaders of Egypt began to become suspicious of these Israelites. They were growing fast, and they feared that they would overthrow their empire. So they decided to enslave all of the Jews. Hundreds of years later, Moses, son of Hebrews, encountered God, who revealed himself as Yahweh. God wanted Moses to free his people. It took a while to convince the Pharaoh, but a few plagues managed to coax him. Thus, their journey to return to Canaan had begun. Several days in, Moses encountered Yahweh again, and they formed the Sinai covenant. The covenant said that as long as the Jews followed Mosaic law, the land of Israel would be theirs. The 10 Commandments were a major part of the law. 40 long years later, Joshua, Moses' assistant, finally led the Hebrews into Canaan. For about 200 years, the land was separated into 12 tribes, each led by judges, who helped bring the people to rely more on Yahweh. Eventually, it was decided to have one king to rule over the land, uniting each tribe. David was the greatest of the kings. He set the capital in Jerusalem and was devoted to God even though he had many flaws and weaknesses. After his death, his son, Solomon, set up a grand temple in Jerusalem, which was the focus of the people's worship. While this was nice, Solomon also ruled very oppressively and began to stray from Yahweh. After his death, the kingdom was divided into 2 kingdoms, the northern kingdom, called Israel, and the southern kingdom, called Judah. The following kings were corrupt and blasphemous. Many prophets emerged, calling both kingdoms to return to Yahweh. Most kings ignored them. Eventually, Israel was conquered by the Assyrians, and Judah fell to the Babylonians. The great temple in Jerusalem was destroyed, and all the inhabitants of both nations were exiled. Over the next few thousand years, the Hebrews began to come back to the land of Israel. But, yeah. There you go. That is the ancient connection between Israel and the Jews. I hope you enjoyed it.